What's going on, everyone? Today I'm going to be going through my UFC 297 recap and what should be next for all of the key fighters on the card. So let's get started with the main event winner, Dricus Du Plessis. He beat Sean Strickland by split decision. I personally scored it 2, 3, and 4 for Dricus. I think 1-2-5 is more than fair for Sean. This was not a robbery. This was the closest title fight I've ever seen. And that word is being thrown around way too casually. We need to save it for the likes of the Jared Gordon and Paddy Pimblett fights of the world. But very close fight, very interesting. I love the style clash. I doubt he'll be ready for UFC 300. His face looked like a mess at the press conference. His eye was swollen from all of the jabs from Sean Strickland. And his leg must be a mess from all the checks too. And looks like we are heading for another Israel Adesanya title fight, which I'm going to make an exception for myself. I think this is fine. It's more than fine. This is the money fight. You have the heat between them. This fight sells itself. You have that ugly incident with them in the cage. And I also think it's just a great style fight. And there's really no one that's clear at the moment. Khamzat Chimaev has not beaten a ranked middleweight. And other than that, you have like Whitaker and Costa fighting. But I think if there's a time to do it, it's right now. This is amazing for South Africa. Really happy for Dricus. What a great win. Sean Strickland loses. His stock's still going to be high. He definitely won over the fans this week, especially with the incident with the reporter. He started this fight strong. He ended it strong. Championship level stuff from Sean throughout the fight. His defense was amazing in the first round. His most convincing rounds were the first and the fifth. I saw people giving him... Well, the second round was the swing round. I thought Sean definitely started that second stronger, but Dricus ended it stronger. And I do think his next opponent's going to be Robert Whitaker. I do think Khamzat's going to have to fight again. He'll have to fight Jared Cannonier in Saudi Arabia, is my thought. But former champion versus former champion, I think this is the most interesting style fight for Sean at the moment. Make it happen. Next up, Raquel Pennington beats Mayra Bueno Silva in an absolute snooze fest that almost put me to sleep. But props to Raquel Pennington. Her experience won the fight. And honestly, this really wasn't her fault. Mayra Bueno Silva was gassed from the middle of the second round onward. So Pennington did what she needed to do to win. Can't fault her. Juliana Pena is clearly next. They have a history together on The Ultimate Fighter. And she's number 1. And she was injured, so this is her fight. Make it happen. Mayra Bueno Silva loses. This was just a lack of experience. This was a huge step up. She's never really been pushed this hard before. Her cardio really led to some bad decision making. Her boxing did not look clean at all. Pennington almost got her out of there. If she was able to separate, I think she would have got her out of there. Her coach was begging for Raquel to separate, but I want to see her against Carol Hossa, someone that's going to test that stand-up again. I want to see Bueno Silva able to stand up with somebody before she's entering another 5-round fight, but it happens. She's young. She's young. She'll be fine. Next up, Neil Magny. Amazing comeback. I feel horrible for Mike Malott. This was really rough. Malott was winning the entire fight. Magny sweeps him, mounts him, and beating Malott up. Kevin McDonald gave Malott more than enough time to get out of there. Stopped it. Had no issue with it. Props to Neil Magny for not quitting on himself. Saved his ranking and his career, to be honest with you. I think Kevin Holland is probably going to be his next opponent, or it should be. Holland has wanted this fight for a while. He said so multiple times. And I think it should happen, regardless of the Michael Venom Page result. So unless there's a more exciting fight for Kevin on paper. So Kevin Holland, Mike Malott. Kevin Holland and Neil Magny. Mike Malott loses a heartbreaker. I feel gutted for him. This was brutal. Especially him being the last Canadian on the card. They go winless on the men's side. Just gassed out, had nothing left, could not get out of that mount from Magny. Was doing really well, first and second round. Chewing up Magny's legs. Boxing advantage, speed advantage, taking him down. Just couldn't seal the deal. I want to see him against Joaquin Buckley. I think Buckley will push the pace, and I want to see if Malott can fix that issue. Or if this was just an adrenaline dump. I don't know, but this was just a horrible, horrible situation for Malott. I feel bad. Chris Curtis beats Marc-Andre Barriault by split decision. I think he did enough. Really good body shots. He forced Barriault to change his game, which was probably the most surprising part of the fight. I do want to see Chris Curtis fight someone above in the rankings. Either Amavov in a rematch or Roman Dolidze, which I think he will be the loser of that fight. So Chris Curtis has earned himself another shot up the rankings. Movsar Evolev beat Arnold Allen in the opening fight of the main card. This was a really high-level fight. I really enjoyed it. The end of the first round was amazing with all the chain wrestling from Movsar and Arnold's ability to get up, roll through. It was amazing stuff. And I was actually impressed with Movsar's boxing again. He hurt Arnold. I think it was the end of the second, or was the first? I think it was the second, but he hurt Arnold. Swole up his eye. This was a really high-level fight. I don't think Movsar is going to be getting a title shot next. But if Volk wins, I wouldn't rule it out. But I do think he should fight Josh Emmett next. I want to see him against a strong-based wrestler who has knockout power. Or I wouldn't rule out the Yair Ortega winner. But point is, I want to see Movsar fight one more time before a title shot. Next up, Arnold Allen loses to Movsar Evolev. Were those knees legal? From my understanding, I thought they were, but Mark Goddard stopped it. Unless there's some specific rule in Canada, I was confused by that, but nonetheless, I do think he should get the loser of Ortega and Yair, which I think will be Brian Ortega. We need to see Brian Ortega more active, keep him busy, barring any serious damage in the Yair fight. And they're both coming off 2 losses, and they're in the top 5, so let's make that happen. And as for the rest of the card, Jasmine Jasdavicius was absolutely incredible. Destroyed Priscilla Cachoeira. She definitely righted the ship of the Tracy Cortez fight, which was her last fight. Her most recent loss really flipped the script there. Her and Jillian Robertson really saved the Canadians here. 2-0 as far as the women's concerned. Jillian destroyed Poliana Viana. So good for them. Got themselves back on track. I loved the Sadi and Tavares fight. So I thought Tavares did win. It was a split decision, but Sadi probably had the best performance of the Canadian men from start to finish. Nice kicks, but I think Tavares' body shots that hurt him were the difference. And the biggest story here, 0-7 for the Canadian men. That sucks, considering it was the exact opposite of the last time they were in Canada, where I think they were 9-0. So that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And once again, thank you so much for watching.